depends upon the character of its user. Teddy Roosevelt. A few weeks ago, on the night of the final presidential debate, many of my friends took to social media networks to share their opinions on this momentous occasion. On Facebook especially, I noticed a growing number of people sharing their endorsements, their observations on the debate, and witty remarks on the way President Obama sounded, or the way Governor Romney sounded. However, there was one status that I read that struck me most. It sounded, quote, "Why do people care about this election? We can't even vote." At first I was annoyed by this comment, but then it brought me to deeper thinking. I'm years away from voting, as are most people here. So what does it matter what I think? Why do I care? I live in a family that pays great attention to current events and politics, especially in election season. We live in Massachusetts, the state where Paul Revere made his midnight ride. The cities and towns around us are steeped in political history and tradition. Whether it's at the dinner table, watching the news, reading the newspaper, my family always seems to be grumbling about some political issue. I was so accustomed to this sort of dialogue that I never considered why I should really care about the elections, besides to engage in the conversations at dinner. After some thinking, I finally found my answer. We should have such an interest in politics, even though we are not able to vote. Perhaps even more so because we are not able to vote. The presidential election is about power. Not corrupt power. On the contrary, it's the power to lead. The power to change lives, encourage prosperity. The power to help the helpless, to defend the defenseless, and to prosper the impoverished. When the Founding Fathers created our government, they laid the sovereignty with the people. People vote for representatives in the government who reflect their voice. And in order for our real vote to be heard, we need to be familiar with the policies and the issues facing our world today. As Abraham Lincoln once said, elections belong to the people. It's their decision. If they decide to turn their back on the fire and burn their behinds, then they will just have to sit on their blisters. Now, I'm not saying we can affect our country like the Founding Fathers. Their ability to shape our government is unmatched. But as long as we stay involved, stay informed, we are fulfilling our Founding Fathers' hopes and aspirations. Now, politics in general, and presidential elections especially, affect our lives, whether we can or can't vote. Different candidates support varying policies, some of which can be vital to our future. For example, the way the next president affects the economy will affect our college life and our life after college. Environmental policies shape the world for both us and future generations. Whatever field you consider, governmental policies affect our lives. Now, politicians have mostly the same goals. They all want what they believe to be best for our country. If we are unfamiliar with the policies and unaware of their repercussions, our voice isn't being accurately represented in the government, and our future might suffer from its consequences. Right now, our voice is not heard in the government, but in a few years it will be. The majority in this room, including me, will be able to go out to the polls next election and cast his vote for the President of the United States. So while right now, many of us may be under 18 and not ready to exercise our vote, when that time comes, we should be informed, interested, and active. By paying attention now, we can prepare ourselves for the moment when our opinions do count. That is why I care.